Alrighty, good morning everyone. Good evening and afternoon. I have to say good morning because it is for me, and I did need to start a little bit late today. Just some things in the morning that needed my attention. It just makes me recognize that this path that I speak about, the path, it's called advaita, it's called non-duality or non-dualism, and a lot of different names get thrown around. But the most important thing for me, the point I like to drive home the most is that it is while all those words and names and ideas are very nice, even useful, what this path is about is self-realization. It's about coming to know yourself as you actually are, not as you believe yourself to be. We suffer not because of the circumstances we have in our lives. Believe it or not, it is not the circumstance that creates the suffering and our experience of suffering. I'll pull this up a little bit. It is the sense of identity, the self-image we hold about ourselves, that creates the conflict between all of the things that are happening in your life and you. It creates this separation between your life as you actually are and as you're actually experiencing and yourself, and installs in the middle all sorts of beliefs and ideas and judgments about yourself and about life and about the way things are, that leads to nothing but conflict and suffering. Because these are beliefs that end up being a rejection of life as it is. Life just isn't okay. It's got to be something else. It's got to be a different way. Well, as long as that's actually running the show, as long as that idea is there, how can you possibly be happy? Really, just look at it reasonably. Right? If I'm always arguing with the way life is, how can I be happy? People, us humans, have been trying to control events forever. We try to control them through direct control, right? Just controlling people, owning people, fighting with people, forcing others to do things the way we want. We've tried to coerce gods to make nature cooperate with us, although not always. Those are actually more modern gods. It used to be that we as humans would seek to harmonize with the forces that be, the way nature actually is. We humble ourselves before the way things are and find just a harmony with it and a beauty with it that allowed life to flow. Well, as time went on, and inevitably the sense of a personal identity and an ego began to emerge, became stronger and bigger, more and more became about controlling events to make them come out the way I want. This leads to bigotry, racism, just war, but on an unprecedented scale. So what do you have now? We have people, countries, belief systems, all over the world trying to force others to be the way they want to, take things from each other. Why? To try to control life. The arrogance of the human ego as it has developed is an attempt to control life. Somehow imagining that we're different from life, better than life. We can dictate the terms to life. And of course, to a large extent we have, through the innovations of science and technology. We have transcended so many of the limitations that our ancestors way back could not have imagined. But what we haven't transcended is our own egos. We haven't transcended the sense of identity that believes itself to be separate from everything and everyone else. Since I'm separate from it, in order to be safe, in order to make sure I survive, I need to take care of them. I need to get rid of them. I need to take from them. I need to subordinate them. I need to enslave them. It's going on all over the world right now, even as we speak. And will continue to. If humanity survives this irrational, just amazingly ignorant approach, if it survives it, we will. The only way we will is if we can transcend the egoic mind. There is no peace with an ego. And I don't mean the ego of just arrogance, right? Fustian, hubris, like you see with, you see celebrities and politicians and most of the leaders, which are all just, basically narcissists. I'm not talking about that kind of ego. That's that kind of arrogance. That's one facet of the human ego. The human ego is simply a sense of myself that is isolated, limited, alone, maybe my group, but nothing more. It divides rather than unites. It wants competition instead of cooperation. It is this innate sense of trying to of separating and then trying to make everything work in the favor of my delusion of being separate. What most of us are realizing, although the powers that be are not, is that we're not separate. That we are completely and totally interdependent. It's the climate crisis is evidence of that, obviously. Right? That are we having a problem with the sound? Everybody? Does anyone else experience? Did it just happen? Right? Because I have been, okay. I just, it started happening earlier today, and it's cracking. Wow. I wonder if this thing isn't working. How about now? And everything you're saying, but it sounds like you're in a windy room. Okay. Let's see. I wonder if these guys are failing me. How about now? How's the sound on it now? It's clear now. Does it sound far away when I'm speaking? It's quieter. Yeah, now it's okay. I'm just wondering, we'll put this one here, the second one here, second receiver. Something may be wrong with these guys. I'm just going to clip this on here, and you guys tell me if it's too loud. I'll just put this here, and I'll move it down a little bit so it's not so much, not so much on the screen. And maybe that'll be better. How's that? Is that better? Again with the crackling. Okay, where's the crackling? It's starting again. All right. I may have to just get another microphone here in a second, but I'm going to do this. All right. How's this all sounding right now? At the moment it's better. Okay. Alright, if it crackles one more time, I will break out an old microphone that I have. Too loud now. Okay, so hold on. I can lower down that. I can bring that down. I can go over here. The audio. Alrighty. Let's see now. That should be very low. That should be a bit better. How we doing, guys? Nope, too raspy. Now it's raspy again. Okay. Well, this is problematic. This thing has been working perfectly for a while. And you've all been the beneficiaries of all the mics and stuff in the Zoom classes I've done, plus here, and now all of a sudden it's all broken up. It's too loud. Please, comments. Everybody. Levi, it's good on my end now. The raspiness went away from me. You'll all tell me if it comes back. Wow. If it gets raspy, I do have a spare mic that I have for this. I just haven't had to use it, so I'm totally perplexed as to why all of a sudden things that used to work don't work anymore. The technology gods, I just have not sacrificed enough small furry animals, I guess. Maybe I have to start getting into the big things, So, we still good? So, does anybody have a question for satsang that doesn't involve microphones? Please. But you will keep telling me if it's not working. Well. Let's get back to wherever the heck it was I was. Like, just say hello to everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for sticking with me throughout all of this. Ava and Mary and Levi. Good to see you here, Levi. And Marty, Ali, and Nay, and Mary again. And now everybody's talking about the mic. new comments, too raspy. GP, come here because things that worked before don't work anymore. Yes, yeah. It's kind of the story, isn't it? It's kind of the spiritual journey when we outgrow things. Maybe it's trying to tell me that I should start just doing everything live and have people come and we sit together somewhere. Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? Yeah. So in the meantime, while it's not raspy and things are working, what's on all of your minds today? Things that worked before don't work anymore. That is a common experience, and a good one, an auspicious one, for those who have gone through a lot of the personal journey of self-help and personal development and self-improvement and all of that, and get a bit perplexed when the technique that is supposed to be the one, because it worked, doesn't work anymore. What's going on? Well, everything outlives its uselessness. Everything comes with a shelf life. No matter how good a particular healing modality is, no matter how effective it had been, or how effective it still is for others, when the time comes in your life, actually the series of lives, that time comes for you to awaken to the reality you actually are, the truth of you. The other things will fall away. They will stop working. They will no longer be able to achieve what they had achieved in the past. We can feel quite dumbfounded by that because we think these things are supposed to work, but they're not. They're temporary. They are transient. And even the very best of healing techniques, including the very best of spiritual practices, will eventually, what really is happening is you're being invited to a higher level, which means they have to fall away. But oftentimes, because it takes some development in spiritual maturity to get to the point where you willingly let things fall away. Until then, what has to happen is they simply have to fail you, so you have no choice but to let them go. Which we won't at first. At first, what's the matter? This is supposed to work. They say it's going to work. It's always worked. Why is it not working? And we double down. We do it harder. We push harder. We try more. And eventually run out of steam. And we'll either try to pick up a new one, see if that'll work. And sometimes it does for a while, right? Or we'll get very discouraged, right? And just maybe even become cynical, right? But if you're fortunate enough, you will encounter an opening into the bigger picture, into that which can never fail you. And what's that? What is it that can never fail you? Well, what is it that's always here? What is it that is always here. You. You're what's always here. And remember, this is the path of self-discovery. Not self-help, not self-improvement, but self-realization. You find that you are what you have been looking for. That you are the answer to all your questions. So it is auspicious and a blessing when things fall away from you, when things that used to work don't work anymore, when our lives that seem to be going so great suddenly aren't. If you're ready, it is indeed an auspicious event that's taking place. And if you're ready, the teacher will appear in some form. Maybe an actual person, teacher kind of thing, or it may be just a personal inspiration that takes place, a direction to go in. Eventually it will take the form of an actual teacher, but maybe not right away. The whole purpose of our lives and all the events in our lives is to move us in this direction. That's it. We think the purpose of our lives is to have all of the goodies and benefits that life holds. No, it's not. They're there for the experience, for sure, but that's not the purpose. Because life will have the experience of blissful experiences, just off the charts experience, and we think that's what it's supposed to be. We're always supposed to be maintaining that. Which means now we get in a fight with all those experiences which are not so blissful, which are really difficult and trying. And we think somehow we're supposed to get rid of all those and have nothing but the others. And that's the huge mistake. It's the mistake of materialism. It's the mistake of a lot of spiritual practices. No, it's not. You are transcendent of all of it. You are what is capable of recognizing the bliss and the grief. You are a level of perception that is actually capable of seeing and experiencing all of it, and yet is not dependent upon any of it. To discover that transcendent you, the real you, that's what this path is about. And know it or not, that's why you're here. That is why you're here, listening to me. Check here. Okay, so far no comments about raspiness, so we'll put it on, it's okay. Too raspy for me is okay. Good. Okay. Mary, a subtle loneliness, hard to explain. I want a friendship, but more on my terms, like that of a cat. I used to be a people person, but I would rather be doing my art. Yes. Good. And the problem is? Allow yourself to feel, the loneliness and the desire for friendship. That's part of the human experience. Right? It's not a problem. Right? Somehow we've gotten this idea that anytime I feel like something's missing or something's lacking, or I feel lonely, I feel sad, that there's something wrong and I need to fix it. No, our life will vacillate between the two. There'll be loneliness and there'll be friendships. Okay? Right? And then those friendships will run their course, and you'll find yourself feeling lonely even with the friends, and you've actually gone to a completely different level, and they're not capable of companioning with you on that level anymore, and they fall away. And then, but that feeling, that need of us human beings for community and companionship and intimacy is very real. We don't need to deny it, right? But we also don't need to serve it. Right? Being able to be present with unfulfilled desire is power, because it's not possible to fulfill all desires. And that's not the purpose of your life. It's not to extinguish those feelings. So there's a sense of loneliness there. Yeah, I feel it at times. Of course, every human being does. And you go, all right, maybe at some point, sometime, that particular feeling will be fulfilled. And it's interesting because sometimes I'll have that need for community filled just by sitting in a coffee shop, having a latte, a brief conversation with the barista, and that's it. Or somebody who's familiar, we have a little conversation, there's a moment, there's a moment even with people you barely know where there can be a moment of intimacy, of honesty, right? There's an exchange there that's honest. And boom, that's it. That's all we care about. It doesn't have to be something long-term. It's moment by moment by moment. If you just let your human needs be there and be human needs, you'll find that in ways that are really extraordinary, they do get met, just not in the way you think they're going to be. And not permanently, because there's no such thing as the permanent fulfillment of a need. What we're looking for in spiritual transcendency is not perfect fulfillment of needs, but the transcendence of the dependency and attachment to it. In which case, you just let it be what it is. In order to appreciate the fulfillment of the need, you must feel the depth of the need. Yes? Otherwise, what does it mean? If I'm not thirsty and somebody gives me a glass of water, it's like, thanks. Right? If I'm really thirsty, oh my God, thank you. The fulfillment now has depth and meaning to it that it wouldn't have without the depth of the need. So we don't object to anything. Don't object to life. It is the flow of opposites by its nature. And even transcending life, as I speak about here, transcending all of the opposites, doesn't get rid of them. It gets rid of all resistance to them, and therefore all the suffering because of them. Because there's nothing inherently suffering about the flow of opposites and contrasts and diversity of life. Nothing. There's no suffering in it. The suffering is all the desire of the human ego for things to be different than they are. To be what I want them to be. Then I'll be happy. Yeah. Good luck. Yeah. Is that helping, Mary? Nay. Gee, could you talk about emptiness? I feel like it's an illusion of the mind. However, something is felt in the body that feels empty. Over the past years, after emotional releases, space has been made, and it's felt empty and sad. Intellectually, there's awareness that it's sensation, and there probably isn't anything missing, lacking. At the same time, there's a desire for it to feel different. Perhaps there's familiarity with feeling so congested with suppressed trauma. Thanks in advance for your take. Yeah, lovely. Yeah. Emptiness, when it's used in the spiritual dimension, when I use it, I'm not referring to that feeling of emotional longing. Right? With a lot of our emotional releases, emotional healing that comes up, it requires of us kind of disconnecting from the source of the emotional pain, which for most of us is basic, stuff that happened in childhood with parents and the like, and relationships that have been lopsided where you haven't gotten your needs met, but you didn't really have any other choice. Right? Yet we're with it because the human being needs that. Children need the bonding of the parents. They need the approval of parents. They need the validation of the parents. That's how we become self-approving and self-validating. If we don't, we never learn how to be self-approving and self-validating. We simply don't know how to do it. Now, in the process of learning how to do it for yourself, emotional healing is required, which means separating from that which which we've looked to get those needs met, that have always disappointed. That has to be let go of, and as that happens, there you will feel the full brunt of those needs not being met, which is where all the emotional trauma came from in the first place. So there'll be a feeling of emptiness there, right? But it's only some steps along the journey. It's what's always felt when that first disconnect from the place you were looking to get them met, and they're not going to get met from there, when that's finally let go of, it comes to the surface and lets go of, and there's emotional freedom there, and you feel it. There's a sense of space there. There's a sense of relief. There's a sense of openness. But you're also now going to feel, because you're not blocking it or grasping at something, you're also going to feel that dimension of the human need, which is for other. The human need for approval, for recognition. Right? That you can't just intellectually make it go, oh, I don't really need that, it doesn't work that way. The recognition, the spiritual recognition of your wholeness will manifest itself in the acknowledgement and acceptance of the human need and the allowing of its fulfillment without becoming grabby and hanging on to that fulfillment, so that you're not suffering when it is not forthcoming. But it will give you enough, right, that you will get to the point of self-regulation, self-validation, self-approval, self-acceptance, because you simply did not get that, and children don't know how to do it naturally. We have to learn. Period. And if nobody teaches us, we don't learn. It's that simple. So this process of emotional healing opens up that space in which that can happen. So that form of emptiness is simply a sign. Right? Embracing it opens us to the possibility of it being fulfilled. Now, the deeper emptiness that I talk about is is not absence. Right? It's empty full. Excuse me while I sip down my green smoothie. When we're talking about existential emptiness, the emptiness of being, the emptiness of the real you, what it means is that it is empty of any concrete, unchanging form. Which means it is absolutely free. Absolutely free, boundless, beyond any limits, cannot have a form, can it? It can't have a boundary. It can't be something this and something else that. So the emptiness means that the characteristics that are being exuded, right? And everybody has, your individuality has individual characteristics, doesn't it? There's things that are unique to you, characteristics nobody else has. It makes you you. Right? The emptiness is the recognition that you are not limited to those characteristics. Right? Yeah, they're here now. Well, I speak this way. I've got this quality of a voice. I've got this color hair. I've got this going on. I've had all these experiences. I've got this stuff going on. Right? I'm not limited to that. If that's all there is to me, then then my obsolescence is is a done deal, right? Because so many things I used to do well are now obsolete. The emptiness means you are essentially empty, which means all the attributes that are currently exuding from you, you are not, you are more than that. You are not stuck there. That's not all there is to you. That's what we think. We're trying diligently to develop a sense of self, a sense of who we are, that somehow is going to be, so good, and I want to stabilize it, It's like, people want to go to heaven and live forever. I said, okay, going to heaven, live forever, great. What are you going to look like? Well, everybody in heaven is going to be young. Young, handsome, beautiful, But it's like, where do you want to stop the clock? So if you put all of that aside and you realize that the attributes, the qualities, the characteristics that define you as an individual, right, were not the same attributes 10 years ago, won't be the same attributes 10 years from now. You're not stuck with any attributes. You see, if you were something and not emptiness, self-improvement wouldn't be possible because it's you. Awakening wouldn't be possible. Change wouldn't be possible. It's only possible because you are inherently empty. Right? Now, that doesn't have anything to say about human nature and human needs and human fulfillment, because what you bring is the attributes, the characteristics, the unique qualities of you that are here now. That's what you bring to the party. That's what you bring to a friendship, to a relationship, to work, to play, to whatever it is. It's just what you have now. But it's not all there is to you. You're not stuck there. You're not stuck with this body. You're not stuck with this attitude. You're not stuck with anything. That's what emptiness means. It simply means you're not stuck. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the qualities that are there now. You just have to realize the qualities are there now, and they're not going to be there forever. They're going to morph. They're going to change. Because you, being empty, that is without boundaries, are forever refreshed, ever new. ever new aspects of you. And eventually you'll find that each one of us individually is but an aspect of the one self. You and I are the same being. And all of these are the different aspects, the different characteristics, the different qualities, the infinitely unbounded, unlimited qualities of the one being, the self, God, pure awareness, whatever. And all awakening is you realize that you are that self. That's what you are, and this is how you appear. Which means you, just as you are right now, are magnificent, unique, wonderful, special. And 10 minutes from now, you're going to be different. Some other aspect will emerge, which is pretty cool, I think. The ego, the sense of identity, gets stuck, holds on tight to a particular form. And identification with form is the heart and soul of the delusion. That is the whole illusion of Maya. Identification with the form rather than seeing the form as just a momentary arising, giving expression in that moment of the unbounded, formless being, which you are. How's that, Nay? And everybody else for that matter? Yes, there's nothing in common. I am enough. Yeah, Peter. Good evening, GP. Blessings from Italy. Good to see you. Yes, good to see you. Yes. And there's Sally in London. Let's see, Mary. I see how I am feeling. I may be missing something, but when I'm around people too long, I see that I'm missing nothing. Yes. Yes. The truth is, folks, I can't wait to get away and go paint. The only thing we ever feel, really, the only thing that is missing is ourselves. Friendships are wonderful. They're part of life. They're necessary, but they come and go. What doesn't come and go? Where's the only place that a stable, reliable sense of contentment can possibly be anchored? You can't anchor your contentment in the world because it's always changing. And these days it's changing so fast we can't even keep up. The human nervous system is in a constant state of being flustered and stressed. So what doesn't change? Where can I anchor my happiness? What doesn't change? Look at your life. When you're 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 70, what hasn't changed in your life? People have changed, clothing have changed, styles, oh my God, styles have changed. Big hair, small hair, short skirt, long skirts, beards on men, no beards on men. I mean, all of this has changed constantly. Friends have changed, activities, interests, preferences, tastes, everything changed constantly. What hasn't? And don't give me the spiritual answer. I won't accept it. Look at the whole picture of it all. What hasn't changed? Your whole life. Anybody want to hazard a guess that is not coming from what you heard me or some other teacher or read somewhere, or Nisargadatta said it or Buddha said it, but from your own looking What was the same when you were 5, when you were 10, when you were 20, when you were 50, when you're 100? What's the same? Really, really look. This is something that must be self-confirmed. It's not enough to just think it. Right? Levi says, awareness of it all. Yes, right. And now, what's aware of that awareness of it all? You answer that. The conviction behind it, isn't it? How do you know that? Christina says, me. Yes. What recognizes that? You recognize that there has been something the same. Well, then what are you? Saying, oh, awareness. There's always been an awareness of it. There's always been an awareness. It's always been there. Everything's coming and going. How do I know it's coming and going? Because I'm aware of it all. I watch it coming and going. Right? And now, not just watching the things coming and going, you turn towards what's watching them come and go. Is that coming and going? In other words, is that what's the same? Okay, what's that? What is that that knows it? It's not guessing. Right? It's not repeating something. It's like, yeah, awareness of it all is here. What knows that? Well, I had two folks bold enough to put an answer out to me. And Miss Nay said, beautiful, good. I'm glad you got that, Nay. It is not a denial of our human needs and the like, but it is, but it doesn't, it frees us from enslavement to it. It lets it be what it is. When they're met, it's wonderful. When they're not met, there's still something here that doesn't need to be met, that watches the needs come and go, that watches the need get met or not get met. Mucho namaste, GP. Bueno, gracias. Awareness of it all. Warm greetings and giant family pizza. Love to all. That's right. That's right. Yes, the party I mistook for a slice of pizza, which I hate to say, it sounds pretty good, even though I know it's completely unhealthy. Okay, Christina, there's no answer. If you can observe it, it's not you. Okay. That's absolutely true. Right. Okay, then what are you? If awareness is simply something you're aware of, right, then no. Then that's not it either, is it? But notice, that one's a little different because you're aware of awareness. So is awareness something other than you that you're aware of? Okay, then what's that? It always has to come back to, okay, what's aware of that? You can see that you're observing everything. You know that you're observing it. So who's, right? And you know that what you are observing isn't you. Right? Everybody can follow along with that, right? I'm not leaving anybody behind on that. If I am, please let me know. Right? That's a given. It's just a self-evident fact. I'm aware. I am perceiving all of this. Okay, good. And if you can observe it, it's obviously not me. So anything I'm observing isn't me. Fine. Okay. But I am observing. Can the observer be observed? I'm where all this is appearing. Okay. So who are you then? And can you appear to you? It's another way of looking at it. If you can observe it, it's not you. Can you then be observed? Really look at this, everyone. This is what this path is all about. This inquiry right here. Since I'm observing it, it's not me, obviously. Look around, everything. Nope, not me, not me, not me, not me, not me. No insight, too. You're observing your thoughts, aren't you? Oh. Yes, well then they're not me either. How about emotions? Strong, weak, yearning, fulfillment, need. You're observing them, right? Okay. Then they're not you. So you're not your thoughts. You're not your emotions. What about sensations? All the stuff of the body. Are you observing that? If so, then the body's not you. So you're observing, you're not what you observed. Can you then observe yourself? Can the observer be observed? And this is not an intellectual question. It's a probing question. An intellectual answer won't cut it. Not just because I won't accept it, but because it won't be satisfying. It'll be then, okay, but now what? Why am I still suffering or whatever? Right? Now what? No, now what? Just look. Notice that your whole sense of identity has been formed by the notion that I am what I observe. Because isn't the sense of identity, the ego, all of that, made of thoughts? Isn't the self-image just a thought, a subtle thought? This is who I am. Given that, isn't that self-image then also something observed, and therefore it's not you? And what knows that you are observing at all? Hello, Darrow, welcome. Awake says, if I can observe the observer, then isn't the observer another mental concept? Correct. Right, exactly. If you can observe the observer, it's not you. That's our premise here, right? If somebody can show me some way in which I can observe something that is me, I'm really interested in how you get there. Because by definition, I'm looking at it. I can't be what I'm looking at. I'd have to step out of me, go over here and look back at me. And that can't be done. That consciousness there that is self-aware of perceiving, right, cannot step outside of itself and perceive itself. So, yes, the observer can be just another mental concept. But you aren't a mental concept, and you are observing. You are witnessing. You are seeing, perceiving, aren't you? Can you be perceived? So, we've eliminated everything that is not you. This is neti, right? Not this, not this. We fulfilled neti. We fulfilled Vedanta, which means end of knowledge. So, all knowledge, all self-image, everything that is that has been presented to you is not you, nor is it referencing you. It can't be, because it can't see you. Right? Can you see yourself as a form? Do you have a form? Does the perceiver have any perceivable form? So awareness, being aware of itself, is still a dualistic concept. As a concept it is, as a reality it isn't. It is a non-dual recognition. What can recognize awareness except awareness? But not as one thing recognizes another, but by you recognizing you as you. It is a non-dual recognition. If it's one thing recognizing another, it is dualistic. And everything in the universe is like that, except self-recognition. Because you're not two things where one thing can recognize another. This is advaita Vedanta. It passes beyond the subject-object relationship. The subject and the object are one. Awareness, aware of itself, is self-awareness, and it is not dualistic. If you follow that, not woke. Victoria, my first thought would, you say the observer observing everything that comes and goes all the time, is that my issue is that things appear not to move for some years. It feels like I'm stuck. Yeah. Right. Now, that feeling that you're stuck, first off, is a feeling that you are observing, correct? You're noticing that certain things have not changed. Some for many years. And what also hasn't changed is your desire for them to change. Although that's loosening, isn't it? Isn't it? So, change is always happening. Sometimes it's imperceptibly slow. Right? Like a plant growing. Right? It's not like you see it happen overnight. It's not the same as a cheetah running. Right? It is moving. It is changing, but very, very, very slowly. Remember that the false sense of self, the identity, the person, doesn't want things to, is that energy that wants to hold on and make things stay the same. It wants to find the stability. That desire to find the stability is actually a spiritual impulse, but until it's properly understood, that impulse to find that which is unchanging will be commandeered by the sense of self to try to make things not change. So we get just control, war, all of this stuff going on in the world is exactly that, trying to make things stay the way you want and denying the change, right? Deny climate change. Because you want what's working for you to stay working, or you want what isn't working for you to go away. The clinging, right, is also something that can be observed, isn't it? You're watching things move and not move. You're watching it all. Because, of course, the sense of things changing could only be perceived from a background of something that's not changing. And you'd notice that things are changing at different rates. What notices that? What's noticing that must be beyond changing and not changing in terms of what appears. The feeling of stuck is something you're observing. So, just apply that simple little formula. If I can perceive it, it can't be me. So there's a feeling of being stuck, and there's a thought that says, I am stuck. There's a self-image of someone who is stuck. Very subtle, all of it being perceived, isn't it? It is just something you are seeing. It is not you. You are not stuck. The feeling of being stuck is just something going by, which isn't there all the time. Anyway, but you don't feel stuck 24 hours a day. At least when you're sleeping, you don't. But the most important thing is there's the real tricky, the mischief makers. There's a sense of I. I am stuck. There's a sense there of an I. And we don't recognize that sense of an I is also something being perceived. It's a very subtle thought. It too is not you. You are not the one who's stuck. You can't be stuck. You can't stick space. You are empty. You have no fixed form. You cannot be held to any shape. You are like space. You can't grab it. I can't force space into a shape. Right? And space doesn't change. If I move my hand from here to here, the space doesn't change. I mean, it doesn't get out of the way for my hand. It permeates everything. It's just always here. Unmoved, unchanged. Right? Yet, without that space, would anything exist? Nothing. You are the space. That's what you are. Everything in the space is emanating from you. It's a manifestation of you. Mary says, the essential being just is formless awareness. Now, no words. It just is what is. Now, let that go in even deeper, Mary. Who recognizes the essential being? Who recognizes that it's formless? It's formless awareness. No words. It just is what. It just is what is. What knows that? What can possibly say this is what is, other than what is? This is the non-dual recognition. This is not one thing recognizing another. Are you following me? Am I zooming past anybody here? Interesting, even a smaller crowd here today than usual. destined for your ears. Yeah. Am I losing anybody here? Yeah. Hands. The very ground of being. And what recognizes the ground of being? There. So this is the place the mind can't go beyond that point. It's in the realm of the non-dual, and the mind, boom, can't go there. Is opening myself to my intuition, a way of dissolving dualism? No. The resolution, the dissolution of the sense of dualism, because it too is just a concept and doesn't actually exist, opens you, the human, to the experience of intuition, because you're connected directly to the source of intuition, because the source of intuition is yourself. Did you follow that? ML? Did you follow that? Right. We will experience it on the spiritual path, right? We will experience an opening of intuition, and more importantly, a trust in that intuition. Now, to take even that and turn it and use it to deepen the understanding, look at it like this. An intuition arises. You recognize that's an intuition. What's recognizing it? What? An aha moment. Oh, God, yes, I see it. It's so clear. Right? What knows it's so clear? How do you know it's clear? See, we don't pay attention to it. Oh, yeah, it's clear, and then we don't pay any attention to that which knows that it's clear and could tell the difference. That's not clear. This is. What's that? See, it can all come back. Who recognizes this is the ground of being? What knows this is the ground of being? It could say it with confidence. What can say, if I can observe it, it's not me? What can say, I am the awareness? What can say that? How do you know? Right? Say, it's the essential being. Who's speaking? You recognize it. As what? Who are you? You're telling me that it is the essential being. And I'm saying, okay, who are you? Ava says, can't go any further. The mind can't go any further. You can. And in fact, you don't really need to go any further because you're sitting where all the going further is going. The one that's going and can't go any further is also being perceived, isn't it? I'm just like not making any concessions today. I'm sorry. It's just what's happening. It seemed to go in that direction. You're all jumping on that. You're all, I went by in a bus. Everybody's getting on the bus. So here we go. Let's just stay here, okay? If it's okay, let's just stay here at this place, right? Oh my goodness, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. Something or someone blocks things, right? Okay. Are you seeing the block? Right. Is that which is perceiving the block blocked? Blocked from what? Right? If it's blocked, we have some idea of what's supposed to be there that this is in the way of. Right? What I'm saying is, don't be interested in this. Be interested in the one who sees the block and the idea of what's out there that this is blocking that I'm supposed to get. What sees that? Is the act of perceiving, the experience of perceiving, blocked at all? You're perceiving a block. So perceiving is not blocked, is it? Perceiving is happening just fine. Right? So where are you relative to the perceiving? On that side of the perceiving, or this side? What is it that's perceiving even the perceiving itself? This is the pondering. This is where I want to get you, put you there, and keep you there. If I could lock you into a room and not let you out, I would. There's going to be, and is already, an enormous amount of resistance to keeping the attention there, because keeping the attention there, you get no help whatsoever for the mind, and the mind and the ego gets absolutely no food. It gets no attention. It can't go here. So it will always be trying to drag you back into some kind of relative or conceptual thing. He'll even say, I get it. I get I get it intellectually, right? And then set you on the path for to find an intellectual answer. Okay, right? No. Say, you're not perceiving intellectually. The fact that you're perceiving, right? That's not intellectual, is it? It's not a concept. No, you really are. Okay, so stick with that. Okay, I'm perceiving. So I exist, obviously, and there is perceiving. So who am I that is perceiving? So far, no concepts, right? Just, I'm here, that's real, I exist, I am perceiving all of this stuff, I'm not what I perceive, who am I? Now that looking is not looking for a concept. When I say, who am I? And I know I'm here, because I know I exist, the mind will now step in to try feeding you all sorts of concepts. And you might even get a few, some really great sounding non-dual stuff. Right? And you go, oh, that's it. And then the mind will say, oh, I got it. Right? And then a few minutes later it'll be, no, I get it intellectually. Right? So stay away from it. Don't get involved in concepts, because they're always after the fact. What are you actually experiencing right now? What's here right now? Perceiving and me. I'm here. I cannot perceive myself. I'm just here. I know I'm here, yet I don't know what I am or who I am. Okay, great. Don't know. Just sit with the question, because the answer can't come from the mind. The answer to the question must come from you. I mean, you're saying, who am I? Who's going to be able to answer the question other than you? I can give you all sorts of answers, but then they're coming from me. Now they're conceptual. The answer to the question, who am I? The only answer will have to be you. Can you follow that? You are the answer. It must come from you, because you're the only one who knows you. You're the only one experiencing you. All the rest of us, for all intents and purposes, we don't even exist. We're just characters out there in your field of perception. So anything I say about you, don't believe it. Any quality I assign to you, anything whatsoever, don't believe it. only thing I ask you to look for yourself, not believe me, but look for yourself is, you are perceiving, correct? You are here, you exist, you are. Also correct. Those are not concepts. Right. So, not because I told you. Right. It's not secondary information. This is not hearsay. This is direct perception on your part. Right. So now, since this is real and non-conceptual, where do you think the answer to who am I is going to come from? It's going to have to come from what's there. From you. I exist. I am here. What am I? Right. Just stay with it. Just live there. Park your car there. Gee, I believe I've been listening to you for a few years now, and again, I just want to publicly say what I privately feel. You are very much loved and appreciated. Well, thank you, Daryl. Yeah, thank you. Wow. That means the world to me. Personally, of course, because, like everybody else, I'm wanting to make a difference in people's lives. I'm wanting what I do to have an effect. But also because when you say that, it means that you feel what I'm trying to convey has value. Because the value isn't in me as a person speaking, conveying. The value in is what is being conveyed. And what is being conveyed is the invitation to you to know yourself as you actually are. And it is the most precious invitation you could receive. And to feel the impact of it, to feel the effect it has on your life, is, that means you're seeing what I'm sharing you, which means you're really seeing me. As Christ said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. If you've really seen this, you've seen that which animates me and animates you. And, the very personal level, of old man G sitting here, there's the beautiful Chinese saying that I heard long ago. When you're drinking of the water, remember the one who dug the well. And that's all I ask. Recognize this is the truth. That will sustain you when I'm not here. I'm old. I don't know. How long have I got left? I don't know. Nobody knows. Right? Maybe another 20 years. I maybe just kind of creaking around here on YouTube 20 years from now. Maybe I'll make it to like 50 viewers or something. But in the meantime, really soak it up. Soak it up. And Daryl, thank you. And yeah, it's been a few years here now, buddy. Wow. Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. You all know what to do. You all know what to do. It's just a matter of doing it and recognizing that Maya will come. The mind, in the form of resistance, of confusion, of objections, will come. Because when you're simply putting your attention on that which you know for a fact is. The mind is completely unnecessary. You don't need to describe it, do you? You know that you are. You don't need to describe it to anybody. Notice, I'm not describing it. What words do I use? Empty. It's empty. It has no form, no shape. You can't say what it is, right? But you are that. You cannot say what you are. You cannot describe yourself. Any description that you call you will only be of an idea of you. It'll be of the concept you. It won't be you, will it? Right? No concept is you. I mean, you can all close your eyes and picture your car. It's a concept. It's not your car. You can't get in there and drive it around, right? So our concepts of things are not the things ever. So concepts are just concepts. They're useful pointers. You can do stuff with them, right? So you aren't a concept. And so the thought of I, the sense of identification, I, is a concept of you, but it isn't you. So no thought of you is you. It's just, like no thought of your car is your car. No thought of a friend is your friend. No thought of love is love. The thoughts, really useful. We're using them right now, right? To talk. I like to talk. I talk a lot, right? So concepts are really good. But for what? To point you all to a place where there are no concepts. It's there, the reality upon which all concepts can form. Once you know the reality, and you're no longer looking for the reality in the concepts become quite useful, quite powerful, fun even. Abstractions, adjustments, comparisons, all sorts of things can go on as long as you know that you're dealing in concepts and not reality. Reality is you, here. You know that you are, don't you? Right? You don't need to know what you are. In fact, you can't. You can say, I'm nothing in particular. Right now, I appear as this 73-year-old dude, frustrated with the microphone that somehow stopped working and made buzzes. That's how I appear. That's not what I am. What I am is unspeakable, and it's exactly what you are. It is, we are one. We are innumerable faces, and we all have the same soul. I'm just going to call you Ilya for now. How to stop mind to shattering. Yes. Go beyond it. Ocean Girl. Thank you, G. You're so welcome, Linda. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes. Don't try to stop the mind, right? To do that, you become an identity of the mind stopper. And now people do that, They're trying to achieve different samadhis. They're meditating with this intention to stop the mind. Well, what is the mind that you need to stop it? Tell me what it is. Show it to me, and I'll stop it for you. What is it? What is this mind that you need to stop? And why do you need to stop it? What's the problem if it keeps going? What is the problem if it's there or if it's not there? Is it a problem for you that is aware of the mind, whether it's there or not? The real question is not about stopping the mind, but who are you that thinks they need to stop the mind? Mind doesn't exist. Exactly. So you can't stop it, can you? It's just thoughts. Mind is a concept. It's a concept of an aspect of your experience. What do we experience? We experience thoughts, don't we? Yep, they are an experience that we are having. They come and go, they change, they morph. Mind is just another thought. It's a thought about thoughts, right? It's an aggregation. It's a generalization. It's an abstraction. Mind, word mind, represents the flow of thoughts. I see the flow of thoughts. They come, they go, they dance. Yes, fine. Leave it as it is. I perceive it. Who am I perceiving it? And do I need to stop it? So the sense that I need to stop the mind is the mind. It's a thought in the mind. It's always the mind that says, oh, I've really got to stop the mind. It's the mind that says, well, I get it intellectually. Right? Mind doesn't exist. Yeah, it doesn't really. Nothing has an actual inherent existence. Right? But don't go there yet. We don't want to get distracted. That is seen when you grasp what does actually have inherent existence. That which actually is. As Mary said back a little bit earlier, the essential being just is, formless. So, what is it that recognizes that you exist, that you are? Okay? Something that does not exist couldn't possibly recognize that, could it? Siri can say, I know, I don't know, I exist, I feel, but there's nothing there actually.
Sorry, I don't understand.
she just answered on the phone. She'll say things. These disembodied voices say things. Of course they do. Words come. Your mind's like that. Your mind's like Siri, and I don't want to say her name too loud. She'll actually say, I'm sorry. And that's what she just said. I'm sorry, I don't understand what you asked. There's no I there. What does actually exist that you could say that exists? Who's saying it? Megan's giving me hearts. Yay, thank you, Megan. Levi, so we can't speak of what we truly are, since language can't touch it, only point to it. So is it accurate to say we can only feel what we truly are? Well, perceiving my energy, I am life energy. You're perceiving it. You're perceiving the energy. If it's perceivable, it's something you're perceiving, right? So then, what are you that is perceiving even the life energy? I mean, that's a big deal, because that's about as fundamental as you can get, isn't it? I mean, the essence of life itself, that fundamental, we call it energy, which is a concept, but it's this, what everything appears to be made of. What perceives that? And is that which is perceiving the life energy, is that made of something else? Or is that the ground of being? Is that where is that being itself? Irreducible, indivisible, the essential substance. It is not made of anything else. It is not a thing made of other things. So, as Levi, we can't speak of what we truly are. Okay? True. You cannot say, I am that. Because if you do, you've just created a form, haven't you? You can say, I am that expressed. I can say that the infinite beingness, the infinite love that I am, is in, expressed in, manifested in, experienced in the love that I express, that I give. In all the ways in which we love, right? We have people we love, things we love. All of that's love, isn't it? But love itself, you cannot speak to. You can't say that's what it is. I can't say that love is only, two people holding hands. That's it. Kissing, not love. You can't say that. You can't confine love to any form, because love is formless. It's a good way of understanding it. So, looking at that, I can give you something that is tangible, but bordering on the intangible, something like love, that we can grasp that there's kind of a principle there. There's an energy there, like almost a fundamental form, right? That we recognize reflected in the various kinds of appearances that there are. So we can see love in its expression. We cannot see it in its essence. You can see yourself in your expression. Levi's in one of my classes. You're in the class. We interact with each other, right? So I can see you, the self, made manifested, knowing full well that that's not all there is to you. You're not bound by that. Nor is what is appearing to me, right, somehow separate from that and needs to find its way back to it. You are that, right? As Muji once put it, human beings are God in drag. This is the absolute awareness experiencing itself. Because in its essence, it is not experienceable. Right? Don't dismiss all of that, right? So yes, when we're talking about it, right, because in this level of perception in which we are operating, right, we are experiencing being on a path to awakening, right? The language cannot say what that ultimate being is, because it has no form, and language has to have forms, right? But I can point to it quite easily. I can continue to point back to it, and the pointing back to it morphs into the expression of it. So that you see that it's not, the world of experience is not separate from it. It's not a problem to be overcome. In fact, it is this is the body of God. This is the manifestation of the Absolute. So you can even say that this is not the self, and it is the self. You can say it exists and does not exist. This is where all the totally arcane language comes from. It is, and yet it isn't. Right? It is as the manifestation of the self. It isn't as an independently existing entity. Right? The mirror, the reflection in the mirror is you, and it's not you. Right? It's that simple. The image in you is you. Yeah, it's you there, right? But the image isn't you. It is, and it isn't. This is the nature of it. Right? And so you know what you really are. It's not even felt in the sense of a feeling, but within our human experience and emotional healing, feeling is closer to the truth than thought, because thought is just representational, feeling is experiential. So our feelings are a much more accurate guide because they're non-conceptual, so they're tied to actual experience, and they are in the present moment. It's in the present moment that you can go beyond even feeling to that which is having the feelings, which is itself not a feeling, which is you. You are experiencing the feeling. Right? So you can see I'm kind of trying to build a bridge here, because there is a bridge between our human experience and the reality that is beyond all experience. In the beginning, the human experience looks like it's headed towards this thing called awakening, culminating in awakening, and then what happens is the human experience becomes the very presence of the awakening. Same experience. Complete transformation, but nothing's changed. I want to make sure I address ML here that says, you're perceiving my energy, I am life energy. Yes, in a sense you could say, I am life, and I am the source of life, and the witness of life. So when you get down to a very fundamental place like that, looking at just the fundamental manifestation itself, it becomes increasingly non-dual. Right? There is a distinction, and yet there is not. I am life, and yet I am not life. The perceiving, that which is perceived, well, at first it's not me. I have to withdraw from it, so that I see that what I have been identifying with is only what's appearing to me and not actually me. At that point, you can now turn back around again to see, oh my God, it is me. But you cannot do that, right, until you are no longer identified with what is appearing, but that which is appearing too. Then what is appearing comes back home to its origin, to its source. Tomas, good to see you. Hi, GP. The hyperactive body reacts very strongly to negativity, especially in the form of people. The body literally hurts energetically, and physical symptoms also appear like migraines. There's a tendency to avoid this negativity so that the body can hold itself together, which is completely natural. Yeah, and all of this is happening on the screen, but I don't want to neglect the body. Have you come across this? I mean, hypersensitive body. Yes, and it actually is far more common than you realize. Well, we all start out with the hypersensitive body, don't we? It's called childhood. I mean, there's no buffers there. There's no filters, right? There's nothing saying you don't get in, right? You know, I don't like you, right? There's no resistance. There's no suppression yet. Right? It's all hitting you as a kid. It's every one of us. Nothing in the way of it. Now, if you were to be raised in an environment where it's totally loving and accepting, very naturally a relationship with the stuff coming in would form, right, where the natural sense of your own value, your own worth, your own self-validation would be all that's needed to distinguish between the stuff coming out there and yourself. Because we didn't get that, most people, nobody got it. Let's just be blunt. Nobody got it. As we are wanting, you know, the urge towards spiritual freedom emerges. As it emerges, right? What's going to happen is the buffering that happened, the disconnects, the disowning, the suppression, all that took place, because the child had to form some boundaries, had to form some buffers between it and the pain that was being felt. Right? The emerging of the awakening is the attempt, right, to come back into wholeness, which means that some of the buffering, some of the suppression, some of the disconnect is going to start falling away. And when that happens, you're going to start feeling all the stuff that it has been keeping at arm's length. Now, you have to be gentle and careful. It's why I teach emotional healing, energy healing, and in addition to what I'm discussing here, because you just can't, pull back that curtain. Boom! I mean, you just explode. We'd be cleaning you off the walls. So there's a process by which you become centered in what will eventually be seen to be the absolute ground of being. But in the meantime, there's a process by which you begin to reclaim the inner territory that needed the buffering before. But the mechanism that buffered before, right, will take some effort to get it off duty, but what brings it all out of that darkness and liberates you and the body is the experience of safety, which comes from really just an immersion in an environment that is consistently loving and accepting. We don't know how to do that for ourselves. That's why I teach people how to do it, right? Because it can be done. And people right here, right now, that can testify that yes, in fact, that is what happens. And that's what opens up the door. And so, yeah, this kind of energy is buffering. It isn't just, it's not psychological. It's quite literally in the body. It's energetic, in the form of emotions and the like. But the actual buffering, the actual thing that took place, right, was physiological. It's the body itself, which is itself an energy form that shapes itself to survive within the environment. So you can't make that change because its nature is to be adapted to the environment. So a full frontal attack on it won't work. That's why self-help either doesn't work at all or it works for a little bit and then stops. Because you cannot approach it like that. In order to open up that space so that the hypersensitivity becomes simply a very energetic awareness, right, that does not have any negative side effects to it, but is actually quite brilliant and needed, especially if you want to be a healer in your life. You absolutely must. It's something that kind of comes with the territory. For that to happen, you create a different environment. You create the environment, it will respond to it. Simple as that. You become loving, accepting, and safe for yourself. That which is buffered against all that stuff will begin to drop the defenses, adapt to that environment. And eventually that gets so strong and so solid that you get the self-verification and validation and self-acceptance and love that you should have gotten but didn't. It happens, right? It trusts it, and now you are capable of knowing what's me, what isn't me. The hypersensitivity is gone because the body's being taken care of. You know what to do for it, right? And you know when it doesn't need anything. And the the impact of the energy of others, it simply won't be there. There won't be any. You'll see it, you'll know it. People will still be assholes, right? But they won't touch you anymore. Right? And right now, that hypersensitivity is needed to keep them at bay, right? Because we don't have the inner strength to make our own boundaries and to maintain them. And at first, what will happen is it'll be more through anger and the like that you'll be maintaining, but eventually that falls away, and just the natural resilience and self-knowledge, self-respect of the system itself will be enough. It simply won't be violated, period. You won't let it happen. You either just walk around it because you have nothing to gain there, or you simply won't budge, and you really will be immovable. It's amazing. You won't be upset. Nothing. You just won't be movable. Can't be moved. Right? So, I hope this is helping, because you do have to take care of the body, because the body's taking care of you. That's what it's doing. That's what the hypersensitivity is. It's taking care of it. The best way to take care of it is to assist it by making it safe. Right. And I invite you to one of my classes, because that's level 1 is called The Art of Creating a Safe Space. That's the whole foundation of everything I teach in terms of energy healing, right? Which is a necessary adjunct, right? Foremost, in order to truly embrace and receive the full impact and implications and context of the non-dual self-inquiry, to find the self that is beyond all of it, but doesn't ignore the body, doesn't ignore human life. It's the manifestation of it. It loves. The reality is, the ultimate awareness loves its own manifestation. How could it not? Right? It looks in the mirror and goes, wow, I am amazing. So you can too, actually, because this is amazing. This vehicle of expression. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? It's miraculous, isn't it? Everything it can do, the experiences that we can have, love, family, closeness, and in order to have those experiences, we must know the opposite. We must know the darkness to know the light. That's how it gets manifested. But you are neither the darkness nor the light as manifestation. You are the lightless light, the empty light, that all of this is a manifestation of. Like the rainbow, light passing through a prism, light in its wholeness cannot be seen. It's empty of all characteristics. Pass it through a prism and suddenly, shoomp, you see all these aspects of it. Yeah. This, you are like that. Your human life is the infinite beingness passing through the prism of consciousness and appearing as the form. It is the light. Its nature is the light. You are the light. Right? And you are the form. Isn't it incredible? It's amazing. It is. Yeah, thank you, Megan. Yeah. Let's see, where was I? Tomas, right. Thank you for that, Tomas. Right. Yeah. Yes, I know it well. Levi. From what you shared, G, I'm reminded of a later module in EFT2 about the differing levels of mind, soma, Yes, mind, nous, yeah, Soma, and Sophia are wisdom. Inspired to revisit that one again. Yeah, and I'm still planning to go way more into Sophia, the wisdom dimension, in level 3. I think I mentioned in level 2. I was saving it for level 3, and I've got to get to it, but it's kind of like how I'm getting to this, right? Because I'm building a bridge, right? And I want the bridge to stand up. Yeah. So, Levi, thanks for speaking to my question. Thanks for being here, and thanks for. I so appreciate you all, right, for the willingness to probe this, right? As you can see, there's 8 billion people in the world, and right now, as far as I can see, there's only 35 of them here. So I'm really appreciative of those who want to hear what I have to say. And of course, really appreciative of those who are donating, coming to my classes that keep food on my humble table. So I'm glad there's enough appreciation that I can keep doing it. So, Dara, it's absolutely amazing, G. It's ineffable. Yeah, it is. All you can do is go, wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then live it. Live life. But not as a beggar, but as life itself. You are the very manifestation of life, and you are that from which even life arises. Savi, I feel that a little bit about anger and how it becomes no longer necessary was for me. I have to go back after and re-listen to that. Yes. Anger is necessary at first because the purpose of anger is to set and maintain boundaries. To say, no, you don't go any further than this. The only those who I have come to love and trust, they can get past this. You can come here, but you can't, right? And there's different boundaries. And only a very few get all the way into that real intimate space, right? And unfortunately, for a lot of people, the relationships are still out here. They're not there quite yet. They have to learn how to do that. I'd really love to teach how to do that because it is possible. But eventually, that anger subsides because the power of wisdom and your own presence and the self-knowledge that now knows who you are doesn't need anger as the power to guard the boundary. It's you have a different kind of power. Anger's still there. There are times when somebody might still try to encroach on you. Go, out comes the anger. Go, fuck off, buddy. And you'll have that available to you, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be the go-to anymore. It does it first. It really does it first. When we realize all the shit our parents did to us, yeah, at first we need to put blame there, right? Because they are to blame. They did cause the distress. They did make this happen. They did do these things to you. Right? But little by little, the blame turns into understanding as the effect that has begins to dissipate. And what they did is no longer dictating your life. A deep understanding of you begins to emerge, and from there emerges the understanding of them. And then what emerges out of that is what we call forgiveness, but that's forgiveness as a state that's arrived at. It's not forgiveness as an action you try to do, and you don't do it too soon. You got to go through all you got to go through resentment, bitterness, go through all of them. If you really accept that, you go through very, very quickly, right? To get to the point where, yeah, I don't need that anymore. Yeah. What they did is I'm not important anymore because it has no impact anymore on my life. I have been freed of that. So, Savvy says, I need to get to balance. It's happening slowly. I went from boundaries like jello to boundaries like a brick fucking wall. And yes, you had to do that, Ali. You did. Right? So now that you know you can make a brick fucking wall, you can begin to let off a bit. You don't need to have it up all the time. You can construct it in a heartbeat, should you need to. Right? And I'm so glad to have you in my classes, to just watch this balance appear in you. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's why I do this. It's why I do this. Let's see, let me go back here, make sure I caught everybody. Megan says, it's amazing. Yes, CM, yeah, Christina. Then what's the prism that awareness passes through? It is it's not really a thing. Right? It's the first emanation of the pure being, right? Of pure awareness. The nature of which awareness is love. So it's not like this thing sitting there. It's explosive by nature, and yet it's infinite. Where's it going to explode to, right? It's the mystery of this kind of, this is mystical language we're talking about here, right? What is the prism, right, through which it appears? The prism is the I am. The I am. Now, I am, that sense I am, right? That we all know. Brought you there. You know that you are, right? Just don't know what, which is cool, right? Right. That sense I am, right, could only be there if there was something that actually was, whether the sense I am was there or not. The absolute is completely beyond. Right? It's what absolutely is. So even the sense, the thought, the feeling I am could only be there if you were there first. The firstborn, the very first appearance of all manifestation is the I am consciousness. That is the prism through which awareness passes. Everything, look around, the flowers, the tree, everything is I am, I exist, doesn't it? It says that. It reflects that. It is the mirror that says I am. Right? Now, it is a reflection. Right? It is the light, right? But not in its wholeness. It's an aspect of the light that you're seeing. We call the flower. We call it the tree. We call it the old guy sitting here talking. Right? That's the manifestation. That's the light that's passed through the prism. And what you're looking at, the red light, or the green, or the yellow, or the blue, or the violet, plus all the ones outside visible light that we now know are there, right? Even though we can't see them, we've learned to detect them, beyond our senses. They're all light, aren't they? They are all of exactly the same substance, yet the appearance is different. Yet it is the same. It is the I am consciousness. The I am reflecting itself, because everything says I am. An inanimate object says I am. It doesn't say it, and there may not be a sense of, certainly there's not a sense of awareness of, aware I am, and I know that I am. I am that by which I know that I am aware. That's unique to humans. That's our gift. But every sentient being knows the I am. They just don't have the capacity to see it. That is, they do not have the capacity for self-awareness. But the plant has it. Inanimate objects have it. This isn't panpsychism, by the way. It's not that. This is the I am is the theme that is playing throughout the entire universe. Everything is an aspect and announces I am. The beingness of which it is announcing is the absolute that is what is. Whether it's announced or not, it is. It does not depend upon its manifestation. But because its nature is love, manifestation happens. Everything is that. You are that. You are that. There's the Hafiz, one of the Sufi poets, said, wherever the eye lands, it sees the face of God. To the Sufi, to the mystic, God is not a person, but that absolute supreme being, the being from which all beings derive not a separate existence, but the existence, but the apparent existence, the manifest existence. So, in Buddhism, Nisargadatta would speak of awareness as the absolute, and then as the manifest world as consciousness. Now, these days we use the term pure consciousness, and consciousness as, we can use that and pure awareness interchangeably. They're synonymous, right? But you can also see it, the I am consciousness, which is simply awareness, aware that it is. Now it is, whether it's aware of it or not, right? But it's awareness. So it is aware of its own existence. Of course it is. And that awareness of its own existence is the love that radiates outward. Right? When you look at the ray of light coming down from the sun, and of course you really can't do that because it'll hurt your eyes, but say you could actually look at it. When you look at the sunbeam, you don't see the sunbeam, you see the sun, don't you? We forget the sunbeam because we're seeing the sun. Forget the form and you'll see the sun. That's what Christ meant. It's, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. The mystical Christ. How's that, Christina? Savia, you need to get balanced. She says later, thank you, GP. Love you too. So great for your teaching and courses. And I for you. For a lot of reasons. I need you guys. Love you too, Mary. Let's see. The Fat Muppet. I want to become one with Devi, and leave all these fake humans around me and in the media. How can I leave humanity, which is so fake and cringe? And by finding yourself first and letting that manifest as the humanity that is possible. Humanity that you're talking about, fake, cringeworthy, totally agree, right, is based on the ignorance of who we really are. That's its foundation. Right? The only way to leave it is to leave the foundation on which it sits. and all the various systems and institutions and practices and ideas and religions and science that has emerged from that fundamental ignorance. And what we see in the media and the world around us is nothing but an amplification a gazillion times of our central egoic idea. Right? And the idea, that feeling, how can I leave humanity, is itself part of fake humanity. The I that wants to leave it, right? Okay. Can you notice that there's a certain degree of pride, maybe even arrogance, in the fact that I see that it's fake and cringeworthy? I could say that because I myself felt that quite a bit. Yeah. My God, they're so stupid. Why can't they see this? The stupid idiots. Right? I had to come to terms with my own arrogance and my own hubris about it, to realize that they can't see it for exactly the same reason I can't see it. So, let me see it. Let me see through all of this. Let me not be fake or cringeworthy. Let me find my authentic self, right? Right? Which is not trying to leave humanity, right? But wants to actually embrace, wants to heal humanity, wants to embrace humanity. Because when you embrace humanity, then you find the self that is beyond it, but you also find that humanity is the emanation of that very source. And that's where you find that which isn't fake, which is authentic. And you become a light of the world. I hope that helps. Right? And when I say that with the utmost gentleness and love, this is a time in which it's extremely tempting, because the insanity and the cruelty and the ridiculousness of what is going on in the world is so apparent, is so abhorrent, and we can see it so clearly, and so many of us do see it so clearly. There's a temptation to just kind of withdraw into kind of an intelligentsia, an arrogance. In this country, that withdrawing into arrogance created the entire movement, which has now got ignorance controlling the entire functions of our society. It was because of the arrogance that withdrew and didn't meet it with love. That's why we're in the situation we're in, because it wasn't met with love. It was met with condescension. What do you do with the kind of ignorance that is willful, cruel, just is completely unaware of the damage that it's doing, is believing this wonderful thing when exactly the opposite is obviously happening? What do you do with that? Hate? Become condescending? Oh, stupid! They don't know. It's not gonna help you. Not make anything different. It certainly isn't going to protect you from them. Where do you go? Find you. Find the you that is authentic, that is real, and then share it with all your heart, wherever you can, with kindness. And maybe, if it's full of kindness and love, there'll be an openness to hear, and an openness, a willingness to look, to be confronted by the impact of our own ignorance, which is not easy to do, and if somebody's beating you up about it, you're going to refuse to do it. But if you are approached with love and acceptance and welcome, there's enough space that you might be able to say, this isn't very good. This is not what I wanted. Yeah. Maybe I made a mistake. I don't see any other way. Love, 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 love. So, love you too, Savvy. Love you, Ava. Thanks, so great. Mary, we're growing up and out of the religious indoctrination. We are becoming more mature. Yes, we're growing up. The Fat Muppet's a really good answer, thank you. No arrogance, it's just a part of me to not be like that. It's been a lot of pain to be normal in a fake world. Extremely wise. You're right, my friend. Yes, it is extremely painful to be normal, to actually be healthy, a healthy, open, loving human being in a world that has gone quite mad. Yeah. And yes, it's painful. Yeah. I feel it every day. I look around and go, what? Oh my God. Because the cause of it, and therefore the solution to it, is so obvious. Yet the tenacity of the ego to hold on to what it wants, and it's going to have it come hell or high water. But thank you. Thank you for not being arrogant. It's hard for me to say that because, it's something we all have to watch out for. My teacher, Muji, who I regard as a fully enlightened being, a living Buddha, has said, watch out for arrogance. I watch out for it. Don't ever think you're immune. That's coming from him. It's like, okay. Got it. I will not be anything but vigilant about that. So, you're extremely wise. Thank you, fat Muppet. But let me remind you all. If you look at me and say he's wise, what knows that I'm wise? What recognizes wisdom other than wisdom? It's in you. It's in you. It isn't localized. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's nobody's possession. It's in you. And it's already operating. You just have to see it. Just have to see it. Beautiful, G. Love what you are saying. How do we evolve beyond the arrogance? You're already doing it, Ali. I have that within me. I don't like it, but it's there. It's a protective mechanism, right? You're so beaten down and demeaned at one point. I mean, it flipped back. You're already in the process. It's already happening. Don't worry about it. Right? The arrogance will drop the more that self-love emerges. Self-love isn't arrogant, is it? What does it have to be arrogant about? Right? What does love have to be arrogant about? Love does not seek to be above anybody. It seeks oneness with everyone. Yeah. Beautiful reality sharing, GP. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome, Ida. You're so welcome. Come join the Self-Inquiry Sangha. All right. Or one of my teachers, come, we need you. Christine, so the I am is the energy manifested from consciousness wanting to see itself. Yes, when you look at consciousness as the absolute essence, that which is just is, then yes, the I am is the firstborn of that. Right? This is the creative God, right? The God of the universe that makes it the power of creation itself. Right? I mean, maybe you can understand what in what book was it? In the very beginning of Genesis, in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the revelation to Moses of I am, who sent me? I am. I am is pure awareness, the absolute, recognizing itself. I am. And what I am, the universe is. Because I am, everything else is. But this is not a recognition as a point in time. It is an integral reality. And so the creation isn't this that was there and then it had a life. Creation is a constant refreshing of what you are. The you that appears is not stable. It is not. It's not the same one picosecond to the next. It is constantly being refreshed. It's constantly. Creation is not a moment in time. It is a continually happening event. Like the dots on your screen, right? The screen is being constantly refreshed. It may look static. It may look like there's nothing moving, but in fact, it's 60 times a second. The image is being refreshed. All of creation is that. It is the very presence of the self, the reality. It's not the God that made something and is now sitting back watching, not liking it, let's wipe out those people. Okay, let's drop a bomb over there. I mean, it's not that. God is not just acting on history. There is no history. It is all the manifestation happening spontaneously. All of it. Even the stuff that looks horrible. Don't worry, we'll get there. And then that energy manifesting the world and the nervous system. Yeah, everything. Everything is consciousness. If you look at consciousness as the I am, right? And of course, what's hearing my words right now? You are. Well, what's that? That's the conscious state. Your consciousness is what's hearing my words. And what is that? I am. That is the sense I am, isn't it? Right? And within that sense of I am, everything appears. The belief is what's appearing in consciousness exists separate from consciousness. The reality is everything, the world, the body, the nervous system, the energy, is consciousness. It's made of consciousness. It's simply consciousness, the I amness, which rests on the absolute foundation of pure being, which is there whether there's an I am or not, but because of the nature of being, there is forever I am. We're returning back to the absolute. So yes, everything is a manifestation of that. That Muppet, it's important to acknowledge the fakeness and people who are fake because it perpetuates group behavior and poisons the minds of the masses. But be careful the way you do it. First, be aware. You're aware of it. Know that you are aware of it. And get in touch with what is it in you that can tell the difference, right? Because that's the difference between you and them. You can tell they can't. Because you can see the fakeness, but they don't think it's fake. They think it's real. It's not fake. This is the truth, right? Recognize that however it is you're able to see it, right? Dive more deeply into that. Because that's what saved you from the fakeness. Because that could have been you, right? Any one of us could have been programmed like that. Any one of us. But for some reason, grace, something has awakened in you that has given you a different perspective. dive into that different perspective. Just immerse yourself in it. And then the wisdom will be there, and the love that can speak truth to power, that can point out the fakeness, but you'll know how to do it. Because the full frontal attack won't work. The defenses will be up. Right? And even speaking the truth to power, maybe many of you saw that someday, and in the Episcopal Church, that all the dignitaries from Washington were there, including the president and a bunch of folks, and the Episcopal minister, a woman, gave a sermon right from the Sermon on the Mount, the real teachings of Christ, talking about making peace, taking care of the poor, everything that the folks in Washington are against. Right? Boldly, right in front of she did exactly what she was supposed to do, speak truth to power. But when you saw her, she was powerful, she was composed, she was not afraid, she was not second-guessing herself, she was not equivocating, she was not trying to soft pedal it. She spoke it, and it was clear, and it was amazing. You could see them squirming, and then those who call themselves Christian nationalists up in arms, everybody up in arms about it, because it was a real goddamn Christian speaking. And they didn't like it. So become that, and you'll know how to do it so that it has the effect. When you know it and you say it to somebody and you can just kind of put it on them, there's a certain sense of catharsis. You feel good about yourself that you said it, but nothing really happened. Right? We have to know about all of that in order to protect ourselves from it, because it is, it's aggressive, and then become strong enough so that we meet that with love. Blessed are the peacemakers. Turn the other cheek. Love your enemies. Do good to those who use you and despise you. Persecute you for my name's sake. That's the name of love. Strive for that level, right? And if enough of us do that, we will transform the world. I guarantee it. Well, it's already happening, right? It's already happening. That is what is actually happening. So, Christina, so the mind doesn't exist. Why do we believe that pizza is bad for you? It's a concession, actually, because it is that way. But don't go fighting battles that don't matter. Okay? Just eat good food and make pizza a treat rather than the go-to. But just render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God, and eventually it'll all be transcended. So, Positive Patty, my friend's question: do you believe the mind is ever happy? No, you can't. The mind feels nothing. Look, it's all thoughts, concepts. Concepts aren't happy. A concept believed will trigger unhappiness in the nervous system. It'll also trigger happiness. But the mind itself, it doesn't feel. Life happens from here down. All the feeling is here. Happiness, sadness, all of it's here. So the mind can't be happy. So us looking for happiness in the mind means we'll never be happy. Even when we're happy, we're going to be thinking about how we're going to lose it, how we're going to get unhappy again. Right? You can't find it there. Because it's not there. It's just concepts. It's just ideas. And happiness doesn't exist in the energy, in the emotions, because they're all just reactive. They're just reacting to things. Right? So they're not the source of it. Right? They just react. The mind shows them a nice picture, happy. Shows them an unhappy. They're not happy. So that's all reactive, and the mind doesn't know anything. So you, the conscious center of this all, right, does. Right? So look to that for the source, and now you'll find a happiness that will be reflected in the emotions with a consistency and a stability, and in the mind. As concepts based on happiness, which means there'll be less limitations, less things will seem impossible, it transforms everything. So, Fat Muppet, I understand. Wow, what a great answer. God, you got it. Yes. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Yes. Pizza isn't bad. If you if you eat real dough pizza, yeah, I've even had raw pizza. Some guy made raw, and he made the crust out of macadamia nuts, right? And it's dehydrated, right? But that's not cooked, right? Oh, God, was it good. I could have lived on that, and you could. It was also incredibly healthy and wonderful. Said Christina said, you said it yourself in an older video, if we believe it's bad for us, it will manifest as bad food in the body. Yes. But what I'm saying, right, from the point of view of wisdom, don't pursue that, right? Yes, it is city powers. There's the power to just move your hand and manifest stuff. All sorts of different states are available. Disappearing, reappearing, being invisible, or being in two places at the same time. All of that is actually possible. Don't pursue it. To pursue it is the ego. It wants that power, right? It's true, right? And under certain circumstances, I'll pull that little genie out of the bag, right, to alleviate certain things, but I don't teach it for a reason. I don't emphasize it for a reason. It is a distraction. It will take you off the path. At some point, those city powers may happen. You may find yourself just spontaneously healing people. You may find yourself thinking of something and it'll appear. But if you start trying to make that happen, you have been sucked into the ego and its desire for control. Don't go there. End of story. Fat Muppet. What you experience as sadness are just mental impressions stuck in your energy body. Don't we have to master the ego to understand what we truly want? Yes. Yeah, because the ego it's unstable. It wants this now, it gets it, I don't like it, it wants that. Yeah. The answer to all the questions is know who you are. Yeah. Sadness, there's a sadness, it can be stuck energy, yes, when it becomes some kind of chronic thing, a condition, right? But without that, in a healthy human, there's a flow between sadness. Because if I love something and I lose it, there's going to be some sadness there. I don't want to be stuck on it. I don't want to be stuck on the thing. I have to let life flow. If it gets stuck, what gets it stuck is the ego, the sense of identity. Remember, the ego is just the sense of identity. It's not a thing, right? It's not a devilish thing trying to get you. It's just it is the identification with form, with the body, with like these attributes that make up this character of me are what I am. Therefore, I'm limited to them, and I'm stuck with them. Right? That's the ego. That's the identification with it. You're not that. These are here. They're good. They're valuable. They're part of life, but they're not what you are. They're only how you appear. Knowing what you are frees you from the appearance, right? Free from getting stuck as a person, but it also frees you to enjoy this. Because you're not clinging anymore. You don't have, it doesn't have to be anything other than what it is, and you know that what comes will go. And so you just enjoy it. In fact, you enjoy it more because you know it's going to go. Right? The relationships become more precious. Because why? Because they're temporary. Everything is. Right? Except you. Positive Patty, know who you are or know what you are not. When I say know who you are, what I mean is become aware of that which you cannot know. The process is you are eliminating what you are not. Oh, I know I'm not that, but eventually you find out that anything you can perceive isn't you. Oh, wait, I'm not that. Why? How do I know I'm not? Because I'm perceiving it. And they go, oh, but how do I know that I am? I'm not perceiving myself as one thing that knows another. So, okay. If you empower your subconscious, the letting go happens naturally. Yes, but that won't take you all the way. Right. Now you're a person, a limited, finite person, separate, who's got a better functioning subconscious. Great, wonderful, step beyond. You want to be liberated from all of it. You are way beyond your subconscious, and in fact, the subconscious is just an appearance. You are what is real. All right, I love you all. It's time for me to say goodnight. Good day, good morning, and thank you all for being here. And thank you for a subject like this to be meaningful to you. That's my reward. If you get bitten by this bug, then I know I've done my job. Because that will take you all the way. Yeah. All right. Love you all. Till next time. Bye-bye.